Hello everyone once again and welcome back to the Weekly Marmot. I am Lore, as I usually am, and yeah, it's good to have you here. This week I got a really interesting question from a guy named Leviathan, who sent it to me through TankSpot through a PM, which, if you're wondering, is the best way to get a hold of me. Just don't ask me about add-ons because I probably won't answer. But anyway, the guy named Leviathan sent me a PM and he said, I've been trying to get back into WoW lately, but it's been hard to raid full-time along with a full-time job and a girlfriend. Ooh, look at you, got a girlfriend. I was wondering, since you are married, which I am, look, and I assume that you have a job, which, okay, yeah, I have a job, but that's kind of a stretch. But anyway, how do you do it? I can't find the time to even log on for dailies much. What do you do that makes it so you can raid full-time? And this is a really interesting thought to me because it kind of presents the concept of I have no time and I'm trying to fit raiding in there, and raiding takes up so much time, which is kind of opposite of what I think actually. Contrary to popular belief, raiding doesn't actually take that much time. So just for today's topic, let's talk about how to raid while having a life. Now, like I said, raiding doesn't actually take that much time to do, even though it's really commonly perceived as this really huge time sink or whatever. The problem isn't so much the amount of time it takes as it is the specificity of the time it takes. And basically what I mean by that is it's your availability and your scheduling that'll have the biggest impact, as opposed to actually the amount of time you'll be spending in a dungeon doing whatever. Just to throw some numbers out there. The average raider will probably spend around 8 to 12 hours a week raiding. I'm in a little bit more of a hardcore progression focused guild, but even in like our absolute nose to the grindstone progression periods, we'll only spend like 16 to 20 hours a week actually raiding. So really not so much when you compare it to the fact that like the average American spends like almost 30 hours a week watching television or something like that. It's really not a huge amount of time. Now the difference is that when you're watching your 30 hours of television a week, if you need to get up and do something, you can do that. You can just sit down and turn on a show or whatever, and then 30 minutes later go, oh crap, time to wax my cat, or whatever it is you do with your time. It's kind of weird. Why would you do that? But anyway, the difference then with raiding is that you're going to be, when you join a raiding guild, they're going to expect you to be there from when the raid starts to when the raid ends. So you have this, usually around 2 to 4 hour span of time where you are expected to be there and you're expected to be doing stuff. So that's where the scheduling issue really comes into play. It's not so much that you have to spend a whole ton of time doing it, as it is you need to have this specific block of time set aside. Now, sad to say, I am probably not the best example of successfully raiding with a life, and that's mostly because I don't have much of a life. I kind of spend all my time on that computer. But I do have a friend, and this friend of mine has 3 kids, he's married, has 3 kids, has a full-time job where he can work up to like 8 p.m. some days, and he still manages to successfully lead and participate in a 10-man raiding guild. So there's certainly an opportunity available there. The problem is more finding out exactly what your schedule is and finding a guild that will fit to that schedule. So that means your first step is going to be figuring out exactly what your schedule is. So bust out a pen and paper if you have to, and just start writing everything down. Go, okay, I got work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. I go golfing with Jimmy at the club every Sunday. I have a dentist appointment every Thursday because my teeth are really gross or something. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Just figure out everything that you have that has a specific time assigned to it and write that down. Then, once you have this all figured out, you'll be able to look and see, oh, okay, well, after 5 o'clock on Monday and Tuesday and Thursday and Friday, I'm completely open, or whatever it is. And then you can take that and start looking at guilds and just start shopping around and trying to find a guild that will fit that schedule. Once you do find a guild, then look at the amount of time that they're going to ask of you and add that into your schedule, and then look at how much time is left over and say, okay, well, that leaves me with 20 hours or however much time of just doing whatever else, spending time with a girlfriend, waxing my cat, trimming my hair, I don't know, whatever else it is you want to do, watching your 30 hours of television, doesn't matter. Just look at it and figure out, okay, I've got this much time left over after I add this rating into my schedule. Is that enough for me? If it's not, then start looking for guilds that maybe rate a little bit less. And if it is, then cool, apply and see where it goes from there. Now, a lot of people will probably run into this issue where you go, oh, okay, well, I tried that, and every single guild just doesn't fit my schedule. Or maybe I have a really wonky schedule that changes all the time. Maybe I don't know what my hours are on the beginning of a week. I got to figure out exactly what my schedule is every time a week starts. I have no idea what my schedule is going to be. I cannot find a guild that will fit this. This guild does not exist. And that's fine. That's actually not the end of the world. There are a lot of people out there with that exact same problem, and they also want to raid, and they form guilds. And the way they handle this is by having more people than they need on the roster, and they simply say, okay, we're going to try and make a raid this day, sign up for it. And maybe they'll have 30 people on the roster for a 10-player raid. And maybe they have so many people that have just crazy schedules. They have these 30 people, and they're only doing a 10-man. But they say, okay, well, this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy didn't sign up. That guy, they all have to go brush their cow. So, whatever it is, they're able to take this big group of people who just have these crazy schedules that cannot ever fit together and still actually manage to get raids put together. And it's a lot better than pugging. Like, it's much better than pugging. Even if you don't end up doing the same amount of boss kills that you would in a pug, there's just so much less stress and nonsense that you have to deal with. It's much better. I would highly recommend that. But basically all I'm saying with that is don't feel discouraged if your schedule is weird or if you're just not sure how much time you're going to have. Chances are pretty good that you can find a guild that will fit that. It's probably not going to be the best guild on your server. It's probably not even going to be one of the best guilds around. And like I said, they might only be around the par with actually pugging. They might only get as far as a pug might. But you're generally going to be dealing with a higher quality of pug, if you want to look at it that way. And you can still actually enjoy the raiding experience. It's not just a complete lockout from ever being able to set foot in Icecrown Citadel and kill bosses in there. You can still get in there and still kill bosses and actually do stuff. Now, suppose you found a guild that will fit your whatever wonky schedule you've got, and you're going to start raiding. Fantastic, awesome, super pro, I'm very happy for you. Before you actually get into that though, do yourself a favor and sit down and figure out what your priorities are. I'm not just saying this because I want to be your mom or anything. You need to figure out what your priorities are ahead of time, because quite honestly, if you're not careful, you can and will ruin your life over World of Warcraft. I've seen it happen to entirely too many people, and I don't want to be the cause of any more of it. So, sit down, figure out what your priorities are. I don't want to hear from you, 6 months from now or whatever, and you said, oh, Lore, you told me to do this, and now it's the worst thing in the universe. I haven't gone for my weekly teeth waxing in months, and now my dentist says I have tooth cancer, and my girlfriend left me because I'm disgusting, and my boss fired me because he's racist against people with cancer. How could you do this to me? No, don't want to hear it. Sit down, figure out your priorities, and get them straight and keep them straight. Do not kill yourself over World of Warcraft. Thanks. Well then, I'm glad we had this talk. That's going to be it for this week. Thank you very much for watching, and be sure to tune in again next week for yet another exciting episode of the Weekly Marmot. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter. My name there is DevoLore. I tend to put, little updates about what I'm working on, any little interesting tidbit that I feel is important enough to share with the internet at large. I don't spam it up with what I had for lunch or what I had for breakfast or what my breath smells like or any other such nonsense, so don't worry about that. You can also follow Ciderhelm as Ciderhelm or Aliena as Aliena85 if you like, so be sure to get the whole Tank Spot cast together and we can all be a big happy family in your Twitter feed or whatever it's called. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this week. Thanks again for watching. I will see you later.